You drive your man wild with your kiss? How do you create a deeper connection? How do you attract your man more through your kiss? That's what we're going to be talking about today. Hello, my name is Matthew Coast, and welcome to my channel. If you're ready to drive your man wild with your kiss, type yes into the chat and let's get started. So, Number one, the first thing, there's 7 of these things. Number one is you want to let it build momentum. So I want you to think of kissing almost like a roller coaster ride. Maybe there's a kind of a slower start, and a lot of times you want it to be a slower start because you're building kind of this anticipation, or you're allowing it to get heavy and strong. I mean, sometimes it's really cool when you see each other and you just run up and it's like, and you're just like kissing all over really, really quickly. But it can also be really powerful to let it build, because you build that kind of anticipation. You start getting a rhythm, right? Just like a roller coaster ride, there's ups and downs, and there's kind of this faster and slower kind of movement that can happen with it. And what you want is to build, like, it's really powerful to build that momentum, because when it goes from something slower to something that's deeper and more passionate, and then maybe a little bit more conscious or whatever, it can be really, really, really a big turn on for you and your man. So that's number one. If you're here with us right now, say hi in the chat and tell us where in the world you are watching this from. So number two thing that you want to do with your kissing is, actually, while you're kissing him, you want to touch his vulnerable areas. And so men will, it's like you pierce their veil of protection, right? Men kind of have these places on themselves, and they kind of feel like it's this almost like this armor, right? They're walking around, just think of them as like having this armor around, and they're walking around, they have this protection, and you're kind of like going underneath the armor and touching those vulnerable parts of himself. And so what are these vulnerable parts? One is maybe his chest, right? Like just touching him right here on his chest, or maybe his ribs. His ribs are a really vulnerable part of him. His neck, touching his neck, anytime you can touch his neck, or his bicep, touching kind of like the inner part of his arm right there where his bicep is. That those can be really powerful, because it actually tells him something about you and your relationship together that you're not going to be able to say through words as easily. And what it is you're telling him that he's safe. You're telling him that he's safe around you, which is a really powerful thing, especially if you want a man to feel like he wants to allow himself to fall in love with you and share more vulnerable things with you in the future. You want him to get that feeling, go deeper than the logic and go deep into that feeling, making him feel like he's safe around you. And it's actually showing him that you can be vulnerable together by just connecting with his vulnerable parts. And you're not going to hurt him. You're not going to do any of that kind of stuff. You can just connect with him in that way. And that can be a really powerful thing to do when you're kissing. So number three thing that you want to do is whisper dirty things in his ear. And so you can do this. You can actually do this beforehand. You can do it during. You can do it after. This is a really fun and playful and powerful thing that you can do at any time. So what you want to do is, maybe you guys have been kissing. You've all been kissing up on each other, right? And maybe you take a break and kind of go over and just get close to his ear. And this is a really great way to do it, is get close to his ear and then take a breath. Take a breath first, and we're going to talk about why you want to do that here in just a second. But take a breath first and then breathe out, and then whisper something into his ear, something dirty into his ear. Just get real close and say, "I like Egg McMuffins." Okay, maybe you don't want to say that. But you can say things like, you turn me on so much right now, or you're so hot right now, or just anything, right? Maybe even more X-rated stuff that we can't really say here on YouTube if I don't want to get demonetized. But yeah, just whisper dirty things into his ear. It can be real. I mean, it can be a huge turn on. Even doing that beforehand can be a really huge turn on for him and make him kind of get into his primal brain, right? That primal part of himself where he stops thinking and it's just like this, oh, I want to like eat this girl up and I want to be all over her and it's so amazing, right? That's the primal part of him, and you want to ignite that primal drive inside of him that makes him just want to, just connect with you in that way. And then number four is lightly pulling his hair. This can be incredibly erotic and exciting and fun and a huge turn on to a guy. Think about this, right? And maybe this isn't the best example, but this is the closest thing that I could think of, which is like picking up a cat by the scruff of his neck. I don't know if you've ever done that before, but a cat kind of like goes into this mode, when you do that. And a lot of guys will kind of just go into that mode as well, especially if his love language is physical touch. Lots of guys really love that, where you just like, you can just touch his hair or touch the back of his scalp, right? Or maybe just pull his hair really, really lightly. It can be a real huge turn on, make him feel really comfortable, make him feel really warm, make him feel just really connected to you in a way that talking doesn't really do. You don't want to go like totally crazy on this and like start pulling his hair really hard unless he's into that kind of thing, which some guys I'm sure are. But you want to do it lightly. You want to do it lightly, and just you can use your fingernails actually just to like, go around, his head just a little bit. And you want to do it lightly and you want to do it slowly and just do it to whatever extent that you can tell. And you can usually gauge things with most guys when you're kissing them on how is he reacting? What is he doing to what it is that you're doing? And if he's not having any reaction, we'll talk about how to figure out whether he liked it or not here in just a minute. So number five is you want to tease him. So the infamous teasing, I talk a lot about this stuff because teasing is one of the most important things that you can do in a relationship, before a relationship, during a relationship. If you've been in a relationship long term, if you want to keep that passion and excitement alive, this is one of the best ways that you can do it. It's a term that I talk about called push and pull, which is a really important concept to know about. You don't want to go overboard on it again. Remember, the magic is always in the middle. But you want to just go in, right? And you can actually do this before you even kiss them, where you kind of look at them and there's a bunch of different things that happen when you're kissing and before you're kissing. And you can tell a guy that you want to kiss him before you even kiss him or before he even kisses you with just your looks. And what you do is you look down at his lips, and then you look up at his eye, and then you look at his other eye, and then you look back down at his lips. Anytime you're looking at his lips, when you're talking to him or he's talking to you, it sends him a signal, a subconscious signal to his brain that's triggering, that's going, I want to kiss her. She wants to kiss me. We're in this kissing kind of anticipation moment. And so that can be a really powerful thing to do. And another thing that you can do is just get close to them, just get really close, because we all have kind of this personal space and these personal boundaries, and it's different for every person, and it's actually different in different cultures. And so what you want to do is break through that personal bubble, break through that personal space that he has, and get closer to him than somebody normally would with your face. And you don't have to do anything with your lips or anything. You just get really close to him. And then you can do that thing where you look down at his lips and look up at his eyes. And that can be a really powerful signal to him. And then you just kind of pull back, and then you can kind of do it again. And then you can incorporate what we were talking about earlier with the dirty talk to his ear, and kind of, breathing in his ear and all that kind of stuff. And it can be a really, really powerful thing for you to do. If you get what I'm talking about here, say yes in the chat. If you don't get what I'm talking about, go ahead and ask whatever questions you have, and we will talk about it. I will answer your questions here in just a minute. So number six is smell his neck. And so this is a deep primal thing that probably comes from a long time of evolution, all that kind of stuff. If you look at lizards, yes, I'm talking about lizards in a kissing video. If you look at lizards, they actually do this. And most of us don't know that they're doing this, but what lizards do is they actually smell stuff with their tongues. And so they'll send their tongue out and they're like whipping their tongue around, and their tongue is actually smelling things that are going on around them. That's one of the ways that lizards kind of figure out what's going on, and they kind of taste it, and that's kind of their smell. And if you see two lizards that come up and start like interacting with each other, they'll like lick each other, and it's kind of this thing where they're, it's like this primal like mating ritual thing that they do. And so one of the things that you can do with a guy is actually just breathe on him, especially on his neck, like right here on his neck, up next to his ear. And so what you want to do is, if you're like taking a break from kissing, or maybe this is beforehand or something like that, you just get close to his neck, just get close up to his neck right here, and just take a breath. And what you want to do is breathe with your nose, and just breathe in and then breathe out. And you can even like have it go up and down, just have the air that's coming out go up and down on his neck. And it can be a huge turn on for a guy, just huge turn on, really, really powerful. So near or under his ear, around his neck, all that kind of stuff. This is a biological response that most people aren't even aware that this happens and that you can do this, but it can be a really, really powerful biological response that turns a guy on and kind of switches things over with him. And it can send shivers down his spine when he does it. And so it's a really, really powerful thing. And so you should try that one. And then number seven, the last one that we're going to be talking about here, is letting him do all the work. So this is really good if you have a dominant masculine man who really wants to take charge of things. And sometimes a lot of women will come in and they will they'll try to take charge of the situation there with all the kissing and stuff. And especially if he's a dominant masculine man, you want him to start doing that. Or if you want to encourage him to be a dominant masculine man, then you want to let him kind of take control and take charge of the whole kissing thing and make him do all the work, take control, feel like he's in charge. You sweep you away, all that kind of stuff. You want to do this because he's the kind of the masculine force there. And that's a huge turn on for masculine men, is them being in charge and them doing everything and them feeling like they've got you under their control kind of. And it can be a really kind of a primal, deep, powerful turn on for a lot of guys. And so ultimately what this boils down to is you want to test for what he likes. So I can give you a whole bunch of different things. I actually have another video about specifically how to kiss with your lips and all that kind of stuff, if you're interested in that. And basically all men are different though. And so you want to figure out what's going on with him and respond to him. Just respond to how he is. And you can even ask him. That's what we were talking about before, is just ask him what he likes and what he doesn't like, and actually find out what's going on with him instead of trying to just look for clues and all that kind of stuff. It can be really, really powerful. Okay, so let's go back over the 7 real quick here. We have number 1 is let it build momentum. So think about it like a roller coaster ride. Like starts off kind of slow, but then kind of gets faster and slower and faster and slower. It can be really, really powerful. Number 2 is you want to touch his vulnerable areas. Number 3, whisper dirty things into his ear. Number 4, lightly pull his hair, touch his scalp, use your nails. That kind of stuff can be really hot. Number 5 is tease him, push-pull concept, kind of get close, pull away, get close, pull away, do the look at his lips and his eyes type of a thing. Number 6 is smell his neck, kind of like a lizard. Do the lizard, right? And smell his neck. Maybe not lick his neck. Maybe lick his neck. I don't know. Depends on what you guys are into. Number 7 is let him do all the work, especially if he is a dominant man. All right. So let's see. What do you have? What questions do you have here? Lots of people saying hi. Laura says, is it okay to kiss on the first date? Well, here's the thing, Laura. It's kind of independent, and it kind of depends a lot on you and what you feel comfortable with. I don't think it's a problem necessarily to kiss on the first date. Some women are totally opposed to it. Some people aren't. Whatever. I don't think it really matters that much. What I do think matters is how much is it going to impact you? And so if you're the kind of person who, if you're getting intimate through kissing, is that going to make you feel overly attached to a guy on a first date? And so if that's the case, my suggestion is that you do not do that. Do not do that, and just wait and get to know the guy a little bit more first, because kissing kind of takes things into a new realm. That's what you want to think about when you're first kissing a guy, is it takes things from, hey, we're kind of getting to know each other and we're learning about each other and we're figuring out whether we're really compatible and whether we have kind of this connection or not. And we're taking it into the realm of, this is actually romantic and there's something going on between the two of us and we're both on board with it. And it's kind of a open, kind of risky thing to do. And if what happens with you is that you get overly attached to guys when you're doing that, then you might want to just wait until later. Just wait until later. Lots of people say, hey, hello, hi. You have to have a man first. That's true. Yes, why not? I mean, you could always kiss your hand, like kind of like the hug. Like you're hugging yourself, you're like kissing your hand, you're making out with your hand, practicing with a CPR dummy or something. You could always do that, I guess. Teresa's saying hi from Ohio. I was just in Ohio, actually going back there. My family's from Ohio. From Michigan, I actually have family in Michigan as well. Hello, hello, hello. Hi from Texas. I'm actually going to Texas here in a couple weeks. Indiana, that's close to everything. We got lots of people from the Midwest here. Hi from Canada. Abigail says, I think this all depends with race. Black men are not really good on that department. Okay, I've never kissed a black man. I've never kissed a man. So I don't know. I can't tell you what's going on with them black men and their kissing abilities. Granada says, I don't have a boyfriend anymore. I think we broke up last night. So I'm talking to other men. Well, I wish you the best in that, Granada. Elizabeth says, teasing is pleasing. Not always. Some people like to get down to brass tacks, but sometimes it can be really fun. Tracy says, let out a soft, deep breath in his ear, then say, God, I want you right now. If you're in public, it makes the anticipation even greater. Exactly, Tracy. Tracy knows what's going on with the dirty talk here. She's got it. Tracy's got it. Granada said, he called me a tease, and I'm not a tease. He is a big tease. When he called me that, then I started being the biggest tease. Okay, Granada. Okay. Brandy says, my guy won't kiss me right now. He's trying to avoid all the feels, so he's distant and impersonal on purpose. Well, it sounds like you guys have kind of a casual thing going on, which I'm not a big fan of. If you're looking to get into a committed relationship anyway, I don't think it's a good idea. And so, yeah, I mean, a lot of people do that, especially I was actually just talking to a woman not too long ago about this because she'd been seeing this guy for a few months and he was starting to get feelings. And so he started pulling back. And it's actually pretty normal that a lot of guys do that if they don't want to have something more or get more deeply involved. A lot of times they'll pull themselves back because they're like, oh, I'm starting to feel it for her and I don't want this to get any deeper. I don't want to get attached to her. And so they'll end up pulling themselves back. And so if you actually want something real, that's why you need to start talking about those things and finding out if he's on the same page with wanting something real at the beginning so that you don't have some crazy expectations and he starts doing this and you're like, oh, because if he starts doing it and you're not, you didn't talk about these things and you're not moving towards something real, then you're going to have to find another man and you're going to be on this man kind of, cycle where you're getting different men all the time. And that's, is that where you want to be? Maybe, maybe not. I guess it depends on you, but we're all about doing committed relationships on this channel. And so my suggestion is that you don't do that if you want a committed relationship. Instead, you talk to him about what it is that he wants and find out. And if you haven't got my program, go check it out. It's at theforeverwomanformula.com. You can get it there for free. Just watch the video, sign up. And if you want to stay a part of the community, there's a fee attached to that. You can get coaching with it. Kylie says, how could you tease your ex when you want to get back with him? We talk every day over FaceTime. Well, Kylie Ann, my suggestion is that you stop talking to him every day over FaceTime because what is happening right now is he's keeping that connection alive. And instead of moving things forward with you and getting back together with you and connecting with you in real life, he's getting a lot of those needs met over FaceTime. And so my suggestion is that you stop doing that. And instead what you do is you make it so that you guys are meeting up. Focus. The magic is in the meetup. Focus on the meetup because that's where all the real sparks can happen. That's where you can really get together. And that's where, if he wants to meet with you and he wants to start getting that connection that he's lost because he's not with you anymore, that's where he can get it with you. And all kinds of other things are going on when you're actually meeting in person because there's another person there. And so you have pheromones and smells and, different things going on. You're next to each other. And so you start feeling different things and you want to get closer, but you're not really together. And so you're kind of pushing them back a little bit and you're wanting something more. And that's the magic. The magic happens in the meetup. Always focus on getting to the meetup. Stop doing this every day over FaceTime thing because that's not serving your purpose of getting back together with him. It's possible that he might want to do that over FaceTime, but in reality, the best way to do it is to focus on the meetup. Got different people from different places. Kristen says, I'm dating a guy who has owned many reptiles. He's always kissing my neck. Ha. Yep. Maybe your man is actually a reptile. Maybe he's one of those reptile overlord people that's, coming in and taking over. Maybe he's an alien from outer space and okay, I'm going to stop on that one now. Granada says, I love sexy kisses. It would be nice to kiss you. Whoa, where are we going here, Granada? We're moving a little fast, aren't we? We haven't even met yet. You want to be kissing me already? Wow. Brandy says, yes, he's literally a dominant like BDSM style. Yeah. So there's a lot of that going on. Sally says, love your lives. They're always so helpful and insightful. Thank you. You are absolutely welcome. Kathy says, Hey, Matt, a guy I met wanted a friend with benefits, and I said absolutely not, but we ended up becoming just friends. Yesterday, he said he found a girl who always says yes whenever he's still not happy. Why? Uh, Whenever he's not happy, he found a girl that says yes. Oh, and he's still not happy. Well, it's because, you know, guys don't want women that are a pushover, right? That's not attractive. It's never attractive when you just do. I mean, unless he's like a super dominant, right? There are some like guys that are like into like master slave type of stuff and all that kind of stuff where the woman's like, she doesn't do anything, literally anything. She doesn't move, she doesn't walk, she doesn't do anything unless the guy tells her to, and all that kind of stuff. She might be in that, right? She might be a super submissive who's into that kind of thing where she wants a guy that's telling her what to do all the time and she just does all that. Or she could also be somebody who doesn't really value herself and her own opinion and her own wants and needs and all that kind of stuff. And so she's just doing whatever. Or maybe she puts him on a pedestal, and so she's like overvaluing him, and so she's just like, maybe if I do whatever he says, maybe then he'll like and love me, and I can be with someone. And so you never know where she's coming from. But most guys aren't looking for that. Most guys aren't looking for a woman that's just going to do anything that he tells her to do, and that doesn't have her own opinions and doesn't do any of that kind of stuff. It's not. It shows, unless you're talking about kind of a master slave dynamic, what you're really looking at there is typically a woman who doesn't really value herself that much. And then if she doesn't value herself, he's in a situation where he's with a woman where he's like, is she really even that interesting to me? She doesn't really value herself. He starts valuing her less, and then he loses attraction, he loses interest over it. And maybe they end up together just because when people are together, sometimes they just end up together, but it's not really that interesting to him, right? So that's usually not what works, right? Some women are like, well, guys just want me to do whatever, and that's not what they want, right? That's not what they want. Guys test your boundaries, not because they want you to let them steamroll you. They test your boundaries because they want to see how far they can get and see what's going on. And it's better. It's actually more attractive to most men if you have boundaries and you stop them and you push them back and you're like, whoa, like this is what I need. And you're making sure that you're taking care of yourself and your own needs, because that's what makes him value you. What makes him value you is him working to get you. What makes him value you is him seeing that you value yourself. What makes him value you is not getting everything that he wants from you immediately. It's the same with women, by the way. If you meet a guy and he's a total pushover and you're telling him to do all these things and, oh, come pick me up and, oh, buy me this and, oh, why don't you get me that? And the guy's just like, yes, okay, don't worry, I'll do it for you, right? And he's like running around doing all these things like, okay, baby, here's my balls on a plate, right? You're like, it's not attractive. It might be fun for a minute, but over time you're like, this isn't really that interesting to me. And guys feel the same way with women. It's just not that interesting when you just kind of lay down and do whatever it is that he tells you to do. It's not attractive to people in general. People value what they work for and earn. And it's true with men as much as it is with women. And so you don't want to be a pushover. You don't want to just say yes to anything and everything that he says, because that's not attractive. That's not very attractive. Pixie says, what about when men won't come anywhere near you because they think they are higher class than you? Okay, well, what do I say, Pixie? If you've been watching me at all, if you watch my channel, if you watch what I talk about in my programs and all that kind of stuff, there's one phrase that stands out more than anything else when it comes to what it is that you're talking about right here. And that is, only go where someone where a man treats you like you're $1 million. Don't go where he treats you like $5. If he thinks he's higher class than you and all that kind of stuff, great. Let him go find somebody that he thinks is in his same class. Whatever. What you can do is find a guy who looks at you and sees you as a valuable woman. That's what you want. You don't want to try to go and convince guys. See, and this is exactly what we were just talking about, right? You're talking about this guy right now, and you're thinking about this guy, and this guy is on your mind who thinks that he's out of your league. And you're like, oh, well, what do I do? What about this man, right? You're not talking about a guy who thinks that he's not in your same league, right? He's under your league, that you're out of his league where he's putting you on a pedestal. Why? Because there's something interesting about that, right? And so it's better for you to come from the same frame. Like, oh, well, maybe, I don't know what you're talking about. In coming from a screening frame where you're like, I'm not sure that you're in my class. I'm not sure that you're in my league. Right. And then you guys can have a frame battle on that and then get to a place where you see each other as being in the same league. That's a lot more attractive than this guy being for a man, right? Than him saying that he's out of your class and then, you trying to convince him that you are in his class. So instead, what you want to do is, one, you want to assume your value. That's the number one rule, is that you want to assume that you have high value. And if you believe in your value, if you believe that you're a worthwhile person, and some guy shows up and he's like, you're not in my class, I'm just higher above you, yum, 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 yum. Right? You're going to be like, whatever, bro, get out of here then. Like, if you think you're so high above me, go somewhere else. What you don't do is start trying to prove yourself to him and trying to show him that you really are in his class. And look at me, I'm doing all these things and I'm dancing like a monkey, wearing this new dress and wearing all these things and trying to act all high value. You don't want to do that, right? You just want to come from a place where you believe in your own value. And if a guy doesn't see it, that's fine. He can go somewhere else. And if he does see it, that's great. He can come on board and you guys can talk about it and he can prove to you that he's actually in your class instead of you doing it with him. That's the better case scenario there. Pixie May, does that make sense to you, Pixie May? Let me know if you have any questions about that. Let me know if you have any questions about that. Don says, what if he doesn't want to kiss or have foreplay, but he goes straight to the bounce, wow, wow. He's going straight to the slap and tickle. Well, you know what, Don? There's some guys that are totally that way, right? There are a lot of guys that are totally that way. And there's a lot of women that prefer that as well. And so I don't know. You have to, one, you can talk about other things and like kissing, right? And you can kind of frame it and set it into certain frames. Like, oh, it's so like, it's really hot. Like you're just talking, right? And you kind of have one of those lulls in the conversation. You're like, hey, what's really hot? It's really like, just like the biggest turn on for me, and the guy's like, what? And you're like, oh, just like really passionate kissing. Like when a guy like makes sure that he just like kisses me like really well, just spends a couple minutes kissing me, just comes up, maybe kisses me on the back of the neck and comes over and we're just like having this hot, passionate, sexy makeout session. We're just like, maybe you don't want to get that detailed in your graphics. I'm super kind of like, I don't know what you want to call it, like movement oriented or whatever. Anyway, you just talk to them about that, right? You want to frame it in that way where you're framing this idea of kissing or foreplay or whatever as being this really hot and exciting, intense, passionate thing. And he may start doing it, he may not. And you have to determine whether, this is okay with you. And if it's not, maybe you want to set up some boundaries around it and saying, hey, I'm just, I'm not feeling it. This isn't really working for me. I want, I need more whatever before I end up doing the bow chicken wow wow. I avoid some of saying certain words just because it gets videos demonetized and stuff like that. So I hope you get what I'm talking about there, Don. I hope you get what I'm talking about. Get what I'm talking about. You get what I'm talking about. Jesse the cat says, how to make guys approach. Well, Jesse, you can't make him approach. You can give him, they actually have done studies on this though, and they found that I think it's around 60 some odd percent, 67% of men who approach, most men, 67% of men won't approach unless they have, which is 2/3, right? 2/3 of men won't approach a woman unless he gets clear signals from her, clear signals, right? So men and women, one of the biggest differences that they found, generally speaking, between men and women, it's like the most common one, is the way that we communicate, right? Men tend to be less subtle about things, whereas women tend to try to throw hints out, right? Like for a guy, he looks over at you, and the girl looks at him and looks down, and she's looking back at him, and she's like, oh, but I told him to approach with my eyes, right? And the guy's like, what are you talking about, right? And so you want to give him a little bit better hints, right? That's one of the ways that you can do it, is you just look at him in the eyes and then you look down, right? Which is a kind of a submissive thing to do, right? You look him in the eyes and he looks at you and you look down. That's showing submissiveness, which is in the men's dating side, we call it an approach invitation. And then you look back up at him, and if he's still looking at you, then you just look away. That's one way to do it. There are other ways to do it, like looking at him and smiling, just looking at him and smiling and just keeping eye contact. That can make him do it as well. Right. We're talking about subtle versus not subtle. That's somewhat subtle, but it's not that subtle. And it's difficult because there's a whole bunch of different things. It depends on where you are. Like, let's say that you're in a bar setting or something like that. You can do something like that. You can also go over and approach him and talk to him, or, do something where you stand. There's this thing in the men's dating industry that we call a proximity. And what proximity is you go and stand next to him, right? You stand close to him, close enough that you can get into a conversation. A lot of women do this subconsciously. Men do this subconsciously too. If you look around and you're in a scenario like a bar scenario or something, and some guys come over and they start standing next to you, and there's nobody around, but they're standing next to you, what they're doing, and a lot of times it's totally subconscious, they don't even realize that they're doing it, is they're standing next to you because they want to talk to you. They're attracted to you. And so they kind of move towards, it's just this natural thing that we do. We just move towards things that we're attracted to. And so if you go and stand near some guys and, maybe you give them some glances every once in a while, that can be a really powerful thing. Another one is just going over and saying hi. You don't have to do anything other than that. Just go over and say hi, or say hi, and let's say you're sitting over there and you see a guy that you like, and you walk over and you're like, hey, I just saw you over here, and if you want to come over and talk, I'll be over here. And then you just walk away, right? And it's kind of a push-pull thing. It's kind of a teasing kind of a thing. So that can be really, really attractive to do as well. Just say hi or say something and then just walk away, right? And invite them. It's an invitation. You're giving an invitation to come over and talk to you. But I'd need to know more about kind of the scenario you're asking about to know what exactly you could do in that scenario. There are other things that you can do as well. One is making it easy for guys to come over and talk to you. And the way that you can do that is by using jewelry. In the men's dating industry, they actually call this peacocking. And what you do is you can wear things that can let him comment, right? So you have some jeans, or maybe you have some boots or something that are they're kind of flary, right? They have some flair on them. They have some personality to them. Or maybe you're wearing a cool necklace or something cool that he can come over and make a comment on. It's called like a observational approach or an observational opener, where you're making it easy for him to come over and say something to you. And so he sees that necklace and he's like, hey, that's a really cool necklace. Where did you get that? And you start a conversation, and you can turn the conversation somewhere from there. And so you want to do a bunch of different things that can allow and make it easy for a guy to feel like he's going to win when he comes over and talks to you. And you want to make it easy for him to come over and talk to you. So other things that you can do is be out by yourself, right? One of the biggest challenges is having a bunch of people. Never, like, if you want to get approached, do not have guys in your group. It doesn't matter if they're your friend or a gay guy or whatever. If you want to get approached by men, don't have men in your group. And if you want to get approached by men, have as little women in your group as possible. Because the more people they have in the group, the more difficult it is for a guy to come over and approach, because now he's got to engage these other people. He's got to find out whether this guy is somebody that you're dating or not. And he probably already assumed that he is. And he's got to make friends with your friends, because if he doesn't make friends with your friends, they're going to drag you off somewhere. Oh, we got to go dance, or whatever it is that you guys do. And so you want to make it as easy as possible and as simple as possible. And that's really the ideal way. I know Jesse the cat, I went overboard on this one, but I hope that helps. Jesse the cat. Jesse the cat asking about getting approached by men. Is that what he's gonna do? Does he want to come over and say hi to you? What's gonna happen next? Maybe it's gonna turn into the love of your life. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. We will see. Tamim says, hello, brother. How are you? I'm doing great. Thanks. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Jodine says, nibbling is good. Love bite lips. Let him take the lead while smelling neck. A lick tease. Okay. I hope y'all having a good day. A good day. Good day. All right, Mary says, my husband loves when I do the kissing and breathing and, yes, licking on his neck. He can't take it for long. Can't take it. He's like, I just look at my neck and you're breathing all over me. It's so amazing, Mary. Let's go to the bedroom. Surya says, hello, Matthew. Lovely catching you live. Lovely having you here. Lovely having you all here. Sheila says, yay, caught you live again. I appreciate you and all the valuable advice you share. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you for being here, Sheila. I appreciate you. Nanens says, me and the man I am dating with always kiss every time we meet up. It's like 5 months now, but we are not exclusive yet. Is he serious, do you think? Well, exclusivity, and so this is a big kind of topic in the women's dating space. I don't know why it's so big in the women's dating space, but there's kind of this question about exclusivity and commitment and who should bring it up. Should the man bring it up? Should the woman bring it up? Who should bring it up? When are we going to bring it up? All that kind of stuff. And it is better for you if the man brings it up. However, it is your job. It is 100% your job. And I back that up 100%. If you want exclusivity, if you want a relationship, do not let this go on without getting it. And 5 months is I'm not sure if you guys are physically intimate with each other or not yet, but if you are, 5 months is way longer than you want to be seeing a guy without having, at the very least, exclusivity, at the very, very least. And so that is something that you should be bringing up with a guy and talking to him about, and making sure that you are getting your needs met and not letting him kind of take this on forever without you knowing where you guys stand and all that kind of stuff. And he's at the point now where he definitely knows whether he wants to be exclusive with you. And he will soon know, if he doesn't already, where this is ultimately leading with you. And so you want to make sure that you stop things, you hold things, you halt things, and you let him know what it is that you need and what is required in order for him to continue seeing you and being in a situation with you where he is getting his physical needs met, his emotional needs met, all of his different kinds of needs met. You want to make sure that you be doing all that stuff. Nenens. All right. Okay. What else do we got? And oh, by the way, go check out the foreverwomanformula.com. If you haven't gotten my program, you can get it there for free. And if you are part of it, you can get coaching, you get free coaching. And if you decide to stay a part of the community and continue on with the coaching, there is a fee attached to it. So you can go check it out. Char says, when you see your value, you'll stop letting these men into your life. There you go. Char knows what's going on. Goddess X Self-Work says, for sure, just found you, Matthew, and you're a gem, like a male unicorn, for the goodness of women. It's what I'm here for, the goodness of women. Goodness of everybody, actually. It's not just women. Because when I help you heal and change the way that you see yourself and start connecting with men better, it helps men too. Like men and women right now, what's going on is that men and women feel like there aren't a lot of good people of the opposite sex to be in relationships with. And so a lot of men are like, oh, what happened to all the good women? A lot of good women, they aren't really out there anymore. Lots of women just want to hook up, which is true. And a lot of women are like, there's not a lot of good men out there. Lots of men just want to hook up, and they're everybody's values and qualities and character are all messed up and all that kind of stuff, which is also true, right? It's all true. There's a lot of truth to a lot of that, and there's a lot of good people out there. And if everybody's looking at each other and going, nobody's good, then what's really going on there, right? Maybe our perceptions are stopping us from seeing things. Maybe we aren't connecting in the healthiest ways and in the best ways. And actually, this whole thing that I'm doing, I'm not just doing this because, I like to get on chat and help women and all that kind of stuff. I'm doing this, although I do like doing that. I really enjoy these live streams, and I like talking to you in the chat. I love kind of the connections and the friendships that get made through all of this, and helping women. There's nothing that I love more than women that come to me who are having huge challenges, that are in a space now where they're getting married and they're having great relationships. They found the love of their life, all that kind of stuff. I love that kind of stuff. However, what I'm really doing this for is I want to heal the gap. I want to heal the war of the sexes. I want to help men and women come back together, and I want to make relationships great again. I want people to start looking at the opposite sex and see somebody that they'd love to be in a relationship with, and I want them to come together into relationships and have amazingly fulfilling and awesome relationships, because I grew up with single parents, who both kind of didn't know what was going on, and they left me and they sent me over to my grandma to live with my grandma since I was 13 years old. And so I grew up in this crazy household with these parents fighting all the time, and they're broken up and they're fighting through that, and then neither one of them wanted to deal with me, so they gave me over to my grandma. And I grew up and I was like, this shouldn't be, right? And then I had all these dysfunctions in my relationships, and I was like, what if it was different? What if we, learned how to connect with each other better, and we actually cared about each other instead of just accusing each other of being horrible people and just throwing people away and all that kind of stuff. And so I started doing research on it because I have a background in market research. And I was like, how do we, what are the patterns? What are the patterns that people go through that help them create the relationships that they want to have? And so that was really long-winded, but that's really why I'm doing this. But I'm glad you're here, Goddess Self-Work, and I'm glad you appreciate what it is that I'm doing. I'm glad you appreciate it. Emma says, hey, Matt, the guy I am with tells me he wants me and has told me how he feels, but I feel that he only wants me when he's not busy or that he's bored. Well, here's what you want to do, Emma, is you want to listen to your intuition and you want to use my system, right? You want to, and here's what you want to do with my system, is you want to change the way that you see yourself and the way that you're valuing yourself so that you only get into situations where a man really values you. Two, what you want to do is you want to look at the relationship that you want, and you want to stop putting men on pedestals, stop valuing men super highly, stop taking men and going, I want you, why don't you change it to the man that I want? And instead go, okay, this is the relationship that I want. Which man is going to take me to this amazing relationship that I want to have? Because lots and lots and lots of men out there want to have amazing relationships with the right woman. But if you're entertaining men who aren't taking you seriously or only talking to you and hanging out with you when they're bored and all that kind of stuff, you're going to be in a horrible situation, and you're going to stop good men that you actually want to be with from actually getting to be with you, because you're stuck on some dude that only mildly likes you or cares about you. And that's why you should only go, Emma, only go where a man looks at you, and instead of thinking, oh, I'm bored, so I'm going to spend time with her, instead he looks at you and he goes, man, this woman is so amazing. I want to spend all of my time that I have, all of my free time with her. I want to look at her and I want to see how amazing she is. And I want to cuddle her and I want to kiss her all over her body. And I want to look her in the eyes and I want to tell her how special and amazing she is. And I want to tell her that I'm never going anywhere because I want to be with her. She is that one special woman that I want to have in my life. And if she wants to have me in her life as well, then we can build this beautiful relationship together where we are on the same page and we love each other and we're passionate about each other and we see each other and we can't wait to be in each other's arms, kissing and loving and telling each other about our lives and learning about the little secrets and the little embarrassing things that we have about each other, so that we can truly get to know who the other person is and love the other person for who they are in a deep, passionate, amazing way that maybe a lot of other people aren't experiencing because they're, settling for some dude who's only trying to be around you when he's bored and he just doesn't happen to have anything else going on. And so he's just coming over and he's like, hey, what's going on? And so you want to stop doing that. And instead, you want to get yourself into abundance, Emma. You want to practice abundance dating, have guys competing for your time, your attention, your love, your commitment, your affection. And if that guy is not investing himself, if he's not proving himself, if he's not showing you that he really wants to be with you and that he wants to take you to this amazing relationship that you want to go to, if he's not showing you those things, goodbye. He can go find somebody else that he wants to be with and waste her time instead of wasting yours. That's what you want to do, Emma. And that's what you should look for. And don't settle for anything less than that. Believe in your own value. You are worth more than second thoughts, than a guy only wanting to be with you because he's bored and all that kind of stuff. So stop allowing yourself to get in those situations. Stop allowing men to treat you like that, because you determine whether somebody gets to treat you like that or not. Know your value, communicate your value, and put yourself into a position of value so that men are competing for your time, your attention, your love, your commitment, and your affection. Does that make sense, Emma? If you're with us right now and this makes sense to you, type yes into the chat. Type yes into the comment section. Kim says, my man treats me great. That is amazing to hear. That is amazing to hear. That is amazing to hear. Char says, ladies, don't keep giving men discounts. Your name isn't Sally Ann. I don't know that reference, but I'll just assume, Char, that that's a good one. So Char knows what's going on. Pemby says, I'm trying to rid of mine and he won't go. He is verbal, abusive, and I'm done with his rubbish. I tell him to leave, but he won't. Well, is he living with you? I mean, you can always get a restraining order and call the cops and get him kicked out of your house. If you're living with him, you can always leave. If you're not living together, then you can just block him on everything and stop answering his calls and stop engaging him. He's not going to stop doing this unless you stop allowing him to do it. Just cut him off completely, right? That's high value behavior. Not arguing with him and telling him things and get him out of your life and make it so that you're not, that's it. That's what's going to happen is he's leaving and you're moving on. Leah says, I would not be attracted to someone who thought they was better than me. There you go. It's the way to be, Leah. That's the way to be, Leah. Elizabeth says, what do you do when a guy says you can text me all you want and kiss me all you want? Well, are you in a relationship with this guy? Are you dating this guy? We need more information about this, Elizabeth. We need more information about this, Elizabeth. We need more information about what's going on. We need, Kim says, I love y'all singing. Well, I appreciate you loving my singing there, Kim. All right, so we're going to close this again in a similar way that we close most of these sessions. And what we're going to do is we're going to say the goddess or the queen's mantra. The god, I was thinking the goddess community. The queen's mantra, we're going to be saying the queen's mantra. And so here's what I want you to do. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Another deep breath in and breathe out. One more deep breath in. And then just breathe out any stress, any frustration, any worries, any feelings like you're not good enough or that you can't do something. Just breathe it all out. Just let it go. And whenever we say the Queen's mantra, we always say it 3 times because we want to get it into our systems. We want to remind ourselves of it. You can say it anytime when you're frustrated, when you're stressed, when you're doubting yourself, when you're not sure of your own value. This is the time when you want to say the Queen's mantra. And here's how it goes. Say it with me now. I am valuable. I am worthy. I deserve to be cherished. I am valuable. I am worthy. And I deserve to be cherished. I am valuable. I am worthy. And I deserve to be cherished. And I want you to leave this video today remembering that you are valuable, that you are worthy, and that you do deserve to be cherished. Stop allowing men to take you at a discount. Stop allowing men to come into your life and treat you like you're $5. Stop allowing men to treat you the way that they want to treat you without making sure that you are getting your needs met as well. Relationships are only healthy, they're only worth being in if you're building them together and you both value each other and you both are committed to making things work. Any other scenario is not worth being in. And so with that, Leave here today remembering your value, remembering your worth, and always remember that you are worth it. So thank you so much for being here. I'll speak with you again soon.